Well, hello, my abundant healers. You know, so often in this group, over and over again, when people join or sign up and they sign those questions that I have you answer when you join this group, coaches, therapists, and healers typically express a desire to market themselves in a way that makes them stand out from other similar businesses. Or they're looking to market without feeling salesy, and they tend to believe that they are not able to get high-paying clients. Or they're looking to break through a lot of self-doubt and internalized blocks that prevent them from realizing their self-worth as a therapist, coach, or healer, despite the fact that they have a tremendous amount of knowledge and wisdom and certifications and trainings to share. And also, they struggle with connecting easefully with the right clients or the ideal clients, what I like to think of as soul clients. And what's really striking to me is that even though we're often looking for some kind of external method, product, or service to somehow fix these kinds of problems for us, it always comes down to what you believe about yourself and what you are capable of doing. So today, in continuing this 30-day video challenge, I'm going to share with you two types of limiting beliefs that will always trip you up, and we're going to touch upon how to challenge them. So I'm also at the end of this video going to be offering a free training opportunity for you to learn about how to build a profitable online platform so you can start calling in those high-paying, consistent clients that you love to work with without salesy gimmicks and tech overwhelm. So I'm going to back up for just a second by laying some groundwork for you. And in my program, The Abundant Healer 90 Days to Scale Your Practice Online, which is currently in a promotional enrollment period, I approach these issues from the perspective of spiritual wealth, which is really founded upon the three universal laws. And that is the law of attraction, so like attracts like, the law of co-creation, which is more or less that if you can get control of what you can control, which is your emotional vibration and or your response to things, you can start manifesting things in the world of form. And thirdly, the law of allowance, and that is realizing that it will show up, but not necessarily in the way that you anticipated. Now, in some other circles, these are referred to as the three principles and described a little bit differently. So the first is that there is energy and intelligence behind all life, and it has no inherent morality, control, or apparent point of view. So that is the principle of mind. The second is that the capacity to be aware and experience life is innate in human beings, and that would be the principle of consciousness. And third, we create our individual experience of reality by the vehicle of thought. And so a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking, and that would be the principle of thought. Now, the way I apply these in business is basically in the format of 4 rules. And I sort of sum up what that means in this way, but it's also about how I live my life in general. And so number 1, how you feel is more important than what you do. Number 2, if it doesn't feel good, don't obsess on finding fix-it solutions, but rather lean into the feeling, receive its wisdom, and then focus on what does feel good. Because number 3, once you do what feels good, those next action steps are going to flow with ease because they are inspired, though not necessarily rational. And number 4, when you take inspired action steps, that attracts the abundances you seek, like clients and cash flow, because you are acting on behalf of your soul purpose. So it's really important to understand that in this attraction-based universe, there's really no such thing as exclusion. So your attention on any subject includes in it your vibration. And if you hold your attention and your awareness long enough on something, the law of attraction will bring that into your experience. So that is basically saying that there's no such thing as no. So when you look at something and you say, no, I don't want that, you are attending to it. And so your vibration is actually saying, yes, come to me, this thing that I do not want. And so whether it's positive attention or negative attention, that is still attention, it's energy, and it's momentum. So you want to be careful about what you attend to and how much momentum you allow to get tied up in it. In addition to that, by staying focused on the subject of your choosing, your point of attraction on that topic becomes a lot more powerful than if your mind moves from subject to subject. So there is a tremendous amount of power in being able to focus and in repetition. And so in business, we call this the power of one. right? The ability to really hone in and focus on one skill, one client avatar, one impactful story to tell, one brand mission, all of that, so that you are able to call those things into fruition. And we're going to be talking about that in the free training that I'm offering later this month, which you can sign up in through the caption of this video. Now, I know all of that might just sound lovely, but if it were really that easy, then you might think I would have already manifested my dreams. But that's really the power. When you think about the power of manifestation, it really begins with the seventh chakra. So this is the crown chakra on top of the head. And this is a point of origin where the manifesting current of energy enters in down through the body. When an idea kind of pops into your head, your energy in the crown pays attention to it. And as it moves down through the body, gaining density, it turns into intention. So you go from attention to intention in the third eye. And this is where you start making plans. This is where you start visioning how it's going to come into being. It's also the basis of your beliefs, where you harbor those things around that intention. And so if you have blocks in the third eye, it's really hard to envision a positive future, and you kind of get stuck in this realm of illusion, clinging to a negative, illusory belief about yourself, your capabilities, and what's really possible for you. So for right now, I'd like you to consider that in order to use the law of attraction and co-creation and allowance to your greatest advantage, you have to clear out these limiting beliefs. And so I believe there are two types of limiting beliefs, and that is indoctrinated or socialized beliefs, and the second are self-created beliefs. Okay. So first, let's just take a look at those indoctrinated beliefs. So indoctrinated beliefs would be handed down from your parents. Oh, look at Sarah. She's so cute. What a good girl. You hear that narrative enough times and then you take it in for yourself. It becomes ingrained in you that when someone asks you who you are, you say, I'm Sarah. I'm cute. I'm a good girl. But of course, the underlying definitions of those words get fleshed out by whatever your parents define as cute and good. But what if the essence of you and of your being doesn't necessarily agree with those definitions? Well, over time, you start to feel anxious and depressed, and you feel a strong sense of internal contrast. And if you are on the right track, you might have an identity crisis. And I say on the right track, and good for you, because you're overachieving in that instance. Because believe it or not, if in the state of that crisis, you are actually going in the right direction. Because if you are in that state, if you hit this catalytic moment in your career or in your love life, that means that there is an aspect of you that has become strong enough, loud enough, and powerful enough that it is demanding your attention. You can't ignore it anymore. Okay. Now, secondly, you have self-created beliefs. And so self-created beliefs are harder to break because we've come to these conclusions on our own. So for example, when a child is traumatized, they need to figure out what happened and how to prevent it from happening again. So the conclusion that child can come up with is something that becomes very deeply rooted in their psyche. So a child might come to believe that, well, if I stay quiet, then I won't get yelled at or beaten or hurt anymore. And over time, that child comes to believe that hiding is the best way to be. And then all of a sudden they're in relationships where their partner's complaining that they're emotionally distant, or they're at work and they're always getting passed over for promotions because some aspect of them continues to hide. Additionally, children also come up with these explanations and beliefs to explain why what's happening is happening to them. And at that age, children don't really have the sophistication required to see that their parents are flawed, because they have to idealize their parents. Otherwise, it's a threat to their survival. They need their parents. So mentally and emotionally, we tend to turn these stories in on ourselves. So for example, here are some harmful beliefs that may come from a negative situation like that. Whether it is big T trauma, which is significant trauma, or little t trauma, which is considered to be developmental trauma. And that is, nobody likes me. I don't belong. If they really knew who I was, they wouldn't like me. I'm all alone. It's better to be pretty than to be smart. Or if I do something wrong, I'll be rejected. Or if I look and act like them, I'll be accepted. So we develop these beliefs about how we have to construct ourselves in order to be loved and accepted. And so these beliefs kind of act like colored lenses in front of our eyes, and they filter out certain realities, and then they only let others in, and they are self-reinforcing. So that's what makes it really difficult for us to understand each other. How could you even say that? Don't you see this evidence? No, the evidence you're offering, it's just fake news. It was created by people with an agenda. And so if you've ever tried changing people who hold really strong fixed beliefs, you know that it's almost impossible, and that your argument tends to only harden and rigidify their position. So today, I'd like you to take a look at and challenge some of the beliefs that you have in important aspects of your life. And I'd actually invite you to you could even write these down in the comments below this video. So I would have you finish this statement. When it comes to my relationship to money, I believe. When it comes to my relationship to love, I believe. And when it comes to my relationship to the future, I believe. And then I would have you, for every negative belief you identify, asking yourself, as Katie Byron would say, is this true? And offer each one of those statements a counter-argument. And then really look for evidence in your real lived experience as proof positive that those negative beliefs are not absolutes. And if you're willing to share those beliefs again in the comments below, we could actually do an exercise right here in the thread about how to turn those beliefs around. And you can tag me at Brianna McWilliam if you want to get my feedback on that. And so lastly, as I promised to tell you about, we do have a free training coming up in the mid-month, March 22nd at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's called 3 Steps to Build a Profitable Online Platform, Soulfully Attract High-Paying, Consistent Clients as a Therapist, Coach, and/or Healer. And so at the end of this webinar, you are going to walk away with 2 simple proven marketing strategies that will help take your platform from unnoticed to unforgettable. You're going to learn how to harness this power of one we are talking about and get laser focused on attracting the clients and cash flow that you love to work with. And lastly, you are going to gain a downloadable PDF of my best-selling funnel framework and online strategy that has generated up to $10,000 per month in online revenue for me and my business. So if you are ready to scale your practice online while opening up to more flexibility and financial freedom without having to resort to salesy gimmicks or succumbing to tech overwhelm, this could be the most important training you attend this year. You will be so glad you did. So check out that registration link in the caption of this video, and I hope to see you there.